Hey, I thought I would go into how to chain grabs properly with the Male Grappler. One of the things that people overlook is snapshot. Now, as you can see in this preview video, when he kicks them away, they get knocked like half the screen away. Now, obviously, if you're trying to chain shit together, that's not going to work too well, because you don't really have that many moves that you can get from that distance unless you're in the corner, which is obviously pretty situational, especially in this game where corner combos are not really a big thing, especially not in PvE. So what you have to do is you have to max out the TP upgrade. What this does is it decreases how far they get pushed away. When you have it maxed, you just kick them away and they move maybe like a character length away from you. Maybe not even that. It seems like it's less than a character length. So you want to put points into this. I see some people in raids, people that do the raid videos and stuff, they actually use this a lot, just for the bosses and stuff, doing combos. If you want to have full control over the character, you want to maximize your damage potential. From what I can tell, you will need to do this. Now, I am not an expert. I've said this countless times, but I'm not really a fan of the end game in this. They've been making some pretty great strides in terms of improving it and making it not so grindy and RNG heavy. But for the time being, I'm not really an expert on that, so I can't help you out with best in slot gear and stuff like that. I'm working on that, as we speak right now, dailies and stuff like that, when I've been feeling up for it. So I'm going to go ahead and show exactly how it works. Now, before I do it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this preview one more time, so you can get an idea of how far the distance is. Even from here, you can see, the soldier is knocked pretty much entirely off screen by the snapshot. Now, when I do it here, you're going to see the large difference. And I have the TP passive maxed. So as you can see there, if you have your unstoppable grab on, which you should always now because it's 100% upkeep, then you can chain after the snapshot with pretty much whatever you want. Let me do some more basic ones here. So you will have to have your, what is it called? Your overwhelming grab will have to be on, but like I said, it's 100% upkeep, so as long as you have that on, anytime you do snapshot, you can chain into pretty much whatever you want. You have just enough range to do it. Snapshot by itself, in terms of the damage it does, it's probably not worth maxing. I had a lot of points in it before, but I took it out. I put a lot in the Wild Cannon Spike, a lot of my other moves too. More utility stuff. So what you want to do is you want to just put it at level 10 and then just crank up the TP passives. Like I said, disclaimer, I'm not an expert. I'm kind of just not even faking it at this point. I leveled this character up to the cap back when they had the event last summer, or about 6 months ago actually, and I didn't touch him after that because I knew that he would be a pain to gear up, but now they're making the endgame gearing slightly more tolerable, so I started playing him again. And I tweaked the build a little bit, but if you're not using contract, you can pretty much max everything. I mean, there's a couple things that you won't be able to do. Seismic Crash, I've always considered, I don't know, it's just too situational. It's nice to use at the beginning of the game when you have more, you have more SP to work with. You don't have all your moveset yet. You can use it at the beginning just to have something else in the rotation. But once you get your full moveset and by effect your full rotation, I just don't even bother using it anymore. So I leave that at level 1. I leave shoulder tackle at level 1 because it's really only useful for impact combination. And even then, I really don't use it that much. It's just something that I never really have bothered with. I might need to change that if I start, for some reason doing hardcore in-game videos or stuff. Snapshot, like I said, I just leave it at level 10 for the passive. It's more for the utility of being able to combo off things like combo off the RKO, breakdown. You can combo off slam kick if you use the down version, where he kind of knocks them right back down like a Helmbreaker type thing. And use that to combo. You can use it to combo off Wild Cannon Spike too. You have so much utility off that move that I think the damage it does is kind of irrelevant. As you can see, I have pretty much everything else maxed out. I really don't use Air Steiner that much, but it works well with Snapshot, simply because you know, you knock them straight down, as you can see here. Sometimes you might be behind them, so it might be kind of difficult to use depending on if you're using a manual input for it or not. Like, if you're new to my videos, or if you're a new subscriber, you know, I play this game with full manual inputs aside from these first few hotkey slots here. These are the ones that I use for stuff that I need to get out right away, or they might be too difficult to use on a pad. Like, there are some moves like Shining Cut with the Rogue, for example, is very difficult to use with a manual input because you can change the direction and you would have to reverse the direction every single time you wanted to change. So that's like a good example of something to put on a hotkey slot. SST for the Slayers, both the male and female Slayers, another one. You actually can't do a custom input for that at all. So even if you're using something like a Balmung where you get more damage depending on how many empty hotkey slots you have, the people who run that build, they still have it on there because it's the only way you can use it. So I do everything aside from these first four, which I have mapped to the trigger buttons, L1, R1, L2, R2 on my PS4 controller. So I tend to avoid using Air Steiner a little bit because sometimes you get behind them and it can be hard to reposition yourself. But I've got basically everything else maxed out, and I'm not level 86 yet, so I can probably maybe put another couple points into Pierce or Focused Fury. But everything else is pretty much the way it should be. So I'll go ahead and I'll do one more combo again for reference. There you go. I'm going to stop there, but that's basically how it works. You'll have to sacrifice a lot of points for it, but in some situations it's really nice. You know, if you run up to something and you slam kick, then you can convert it into a full combo, whereas if you don't have it maxed out, then your options are severely limited. But, you know, we have free resets on this version. That's one of the nicest things they did when they brought this game back, is they incorporated the free reset patch from the Korean version, which we didn't have on the old version. You may remember the old version, you had to pay something ridiculous like $15 or $20. It was either, I think it was like $18 or something, but it was a ridiculous amount of money to reset your build, which is why, you know, people kind of got drawn away. You couldn't really experiment with your stuff without paying a lot or waiting for a package. I don't even think they gave them out in events. You know, Nexon was very stingy with their events compared to how Neopal has been handling it. Like, I have like 300 tokens on my other characters just because of how generous they've been with the events. You know, if you play the events, sure, some of them aren't fun, some of them can be pretty soul-crushing. You know, if you have to like grind multiple fatigue bars to get the, you know, the max potential out of them. But they have been pretty, you know, generous with the events. So what you can do is, if you want, you can change your build. If you're going to be doing some kind of situation or dungeon where you don't need the OTG build, then you can take this out and you can put the TP into something else. But I get lazy. This is kind of just the build that I use. But I tend to use this a lot more than I realize. It's one of those things that you don't notice it's gone until you take it off. It's actually very, very useful. I hope this helps Male Grappler players. What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to farm for the Gracious set so I can get some pretty crazy damage for this character, but it's so soul-crushing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stick with it. And but at the same time, there's like nothing coming out next month until Basara, so maybe I'll log on every day and do the dailies and try to get some progress there. Anyway, I hope that helps. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.